Welcome back, everyone. In this video I'll show you something that I made last week when I had some time left. And to be honest, I'm not really sure if I want to show you this at all, because nothing on this little project turned out as I was hoping for. I made a bunch of mistakes, but I think it's only fair if people show their mistakes too, so that at least someone could learn a little bit from it. For as far as I'm concerned, I think I learned a lot on this, but let's start with it. So the idea was to make a little knife completely out of wood. Not necessarily you would say it's not a real knife. It's just something to cut butter, or maybe for cakes or so. I don't know. I just an idea that I had since a while, and I always wanted to make one of those. And I had lots of little pieces of veneer over, and I thought, okay, well, let's do this little knife project. Let's glue them all together and shape it into the shape of a knife, and yeah, let's just do it. And you can probably already see here the first mistake that I made was when I glued all this veneer together. I used a lot of glue, and it was probably too much, or a lot too much, because now that I clamp everything together, I have so much ooze out. It's incredible. It created a whole mess on my work table, because I also forgot to put that little cardboard under that I usually do when I do some glue up. So that was pretty much my first mistake. But I kept going anyway. Yeah, you can see here I had just a lot of ooze out glue to clean up later. If you have lots of ooze out and lots of glues running over your clamps too, then very often those clamps are getting stuck, and you have to kind of loosen them. And in this case, I use a hammer. But not only those clamps got stuck or glued together, also those extra sacrificial boards of wood that I used to clamp everything. But I used just an old chisel to remove those, and because I used that painter's tape here, was not a big deal. So, and here we come to my next mistake. I use a pencil here to kind of make the, or draw the shape of the knife on that veneer. And if you are a bit familiar with my channel, you might already know that I'm not the biggest fan of drawings and stuff like that. I like to do things a lot, or very often, freestyle. And in this particular case, it was a big mistake, because I didn't think things through. So I just grabbed a pencil and made the shape of the knife on that veneer, without thinking of the right dimensions. And to be honest, I already noticed that when I was making that shape, but I was just too lazy to think things through. So I ended up with a shape that is not very, I would say, not very good looking, and it's also not very handy, because I noticed later that the handle that I made is a bit too long. So it's not 100%, or it's not very comfortable if you want to use it. So yeah, here I'm trying to make on my belt sander, or on my other belt sander. I try to make it a little bit sharp, to give it a sharp edge, so that you can use it at least to cut some cheese or butter or whatever. In this part, it was not so bad, but it didn't look as I was hoping for. So the reason why I used all those layers of veneer was, I was hoping when I cut or when I sand the bevel on both sides of that knife, that those layers of veneer will kind of pop up more, so it will get a little bit more of the Damascus steel look, but unfortunately it didn't. Next time, if I would ever do this again, I would probably glue different species of veneer together, so to make sure that I get this nice looking Damascus steel look. And what I also noticed when I was sanding it, that it's the whole knife is a little bit wobbly. It's not very stable. So I decided to glue some, or to make the handle a bit thicker. So I just grabbed some leftovers of maple, I think it is, and I glue this on the handle side of that knife to make everything a bit more stable. And this didn't turn out that bad, to be honest. But it was definitely not my original plan to do this. That's just one of those issues you run into when things do not turn out great during a process. Okay, I let it dry overnight, and here I'm on the next day after work, and I give the final shape, the handle the final shape here on my little belt sander here. And it's, even though that it was not my intention at the first place to make the handle thicker, but it definitely did the trick. So after that, I noticed that the whole thing is a lot more stable than it was before. And here's another mistake that is a little bit, it's off camera, but as you can see here, the sanding caused a lot of dust, and I forgot to put my mask on. So yeah, this whole project was a bit of a mess. Here to round those edges and to give it the final shape, I use rasp and files. And in the past, I was not a big fan of rasps and files, because I was always under the assumption that they would destroy more than you want if you use them. But it turned out in the last year or so that I use them more and more, and I really like them. Okay, then here's some final sanding, some final steps. And like I said, probably during the whole video, that it was not my best project that I ever made, and I made quite a lot of mistakes. But to be honest, even though that the final item does not look like as I was hoping for, I still had fun doing it. And I'm probably gonna do this again whenever I have time, and then I would really take some time. I would really plan this more and make sure that I get the right shape in the first place, because I still believe in the idea of using a knife that's completely made out of wood. So I finish it with some mineral oil, some definitely food safe oil. And here it is. Like I said, not my best project, but as I also mentioned, I had fun, and I think that's the whole point of woodworking. But if you still like that video, please give me a thumbs up, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel.